What's good, YouTube? For today's video, I am going to be discussing the position of small forward and shooting guard. Now, why is this position important? Because this position mainly gets you buckets. This is a position that mainly gets you points on the team, man. This is by far the most important position, but definitely the most toughest, so bear with me, guys. So, the reason why I'm making this position video is because it's going to be important for the scorers nowadays to actually get buckets instead of just, not getting buckets and then your team ends up losing. But by far, this is the most important position where the chances increase based on whether you lose or win. So if you have a really good score on the team, you're more likely going to win. And if you have a bad score on the team, you're more likely going to lose. The only time where you don't lose or win is if, let's say, for example, your teammates aren't playing defense, so if your big man isn't catching any boards and your point guard isn't playing defense. So if you're racking up points, but your teammates aren't getting any turnovers, then you're cooked. So yeah, pretty much, so first position would be small forward. Usually these guys are gonna end up being better shot creators than shooting guards. There are still some catch and shoot players on here. Like you'll have Amanda. Let me think of another one. You'll have Jesse. That's pretty much it. Those are like the only catch and shoots you'll find. Maybe Nathan, but the main ones would probably be Jesse and Amanda for catch and shoot. But most of these guys on here are usually going to end up being shot creators. The reason why most of the guys on here are shot creators is because some of these guys can drive to the paint. Usually small forwards are bigger than shooting guards. They have more strength. They're taller. They go inside the paint and they throw it down. But that's literally it. Shooting guard's a little weird position. You mostly got catch and shoots, but you also got shot creators as well. Most of the shot creators are extremely tall. Like, Jason and MC are extremely tall for their position. But yeah, pretty much most of the guys on here are going to be catch and shoots because these guys are usually more shiftier. These guys, when you're usually a little shorter, you can't really dribble. You kind of play like a point guard a little bit. You're not going to be able to dribble too much in this game. You won't have like the crazy dribbling skills that the shot creators, small forwards have. But these guys are mainly catch and shoots. So you're able to just catch the ball and you shoot it. So example of some catch and shoots would be Rin, Kim. You see here, Walker can be a catch and shoot, sometimes Fred. See Ox Queen, Yuna, it's literally it. Shot creators include like Carolina, Jason, Noah sometimes, MC, but pretty much Nadia, etc. But pretty much all it is you got two roles. You got shot creators and you got catch and shoots. Shot creators, their main role is to ISO pretty much, so you won't need the help of your teammates. All you do is you just dribble and then you shoot it. That's literally it. These guys are extremely good if your teammates can't pass you the ball or you have a stretch big man. So if you have a stretch big man, you go inside the paint, you give a layup pass to the stretch big, and then your stretch big will shoot the three or whatever open shot they have. And then same thing with but this time with the catch and shoots, these guys usually do better when you're playing with a slasher big man. So your best bet when you're playing these characters is you're playing these guys, all you do, you just shoot open shots. You work with your teammates to pass you the ball every now and then so you can get some open shots. By far, these characters are going to have the better three-pointer, and then these guys are going to have the better mid-range. Mid-ranges help you get some ISO shots in. So you're some contested shots. These shots are usually easier but worth less points. And then when it comes to these guys are usually better at shooting three-pointers, which are open shots that are more difficult to make, but definitely put your team in the lead. But yeah, by far, man, if you're a beginner, I recommend getting you one of these characters. I mainly recommend you getting like a good ISO small forward. So someone like Joey would be really good. You know, you can also get someone from shooting guard position, but most of the guys that are most of the shot creators are usually small forwards. So go to Joey. You know, when you first start out, you can pick whatever small forward you guys want. I really don't care. Just pick someone who's a very good shot creator when you guys first start out, because should I move my wording? This is because you're able to ISO, especially if your teammates suck or ain't passing the ball. That way you ISO. So, like I said, upgrade your shot creator, get them to level 5. You know, for freestyles, yes, when it comes to shot creators, you want to have, depending on if they can dunk or not, you can put a long distance dunk or a short distance dunk freestyle. Most of them cannot. So, what I would do if I were playing Joey, since Joey can't dunk, I wouldn't put any dunking freestyles on him. I would have a good short distance layup freestyle, a good long distance layup freestyle, and then a good shooting freestyle. And that's all you really need to run, guys. This is so you're able to, so when you get into the paint, you slash it, but then when you get into the outside area, you're able to shoot that shit. So keep that in mind. Freestyles aren't the most important, but definitely help your defense resist. For skills, I recommend getting them all low 4. That way you can put it on other positions as well, or your other characters. You know, that's pretty much it. You know, now this is how you can find a good shot creator. Most shot creators are going to have good dribbling moves. So drive and post up, crossover, stop drive, free to drive. That's literally it. You know, they have some shot creation moves like this, side hops. But pretty much shots are being taken off the dribble. They can also go inside the paint. So manual layup, double clutch, pull-up jumper. Pull-up jumper is more for outside shooting. Side hop step is outside shooting. For P6, I would recommend going for pump fake spin shot. Just any outside shot creation skills would be best. They also even got like a little passive ability where you can increase your shot success rate or defense resist. But for this is mainly what I'm going to be talking about. So when you're building your character for your pizzas, I don't really care what you go for. Just make sure you either go for dry speed, success rate, or 3-point shot success rate, or mid-range shot defense resist. That's all I want you guys to be going for. Right now, I don't have the best pizza, but I'll get better later on. For burgers, I recommend going for a 3-point shot success rate. This is so when you get an open 3-pointer, you make it. You know, obviously the only problem with this is you're not going to be able to make 3-pointers off a contest, but I don't recommend you do that. I recommend when you shoot 3-pointers, guys, you make them off of open chance. This is so your success rate will increase a lot. For your fries, I recommend going for mid-range shot defense resist. This is so you're able to make mid-ranges while being contested. This is going to really help your mid-range game, you know, getting your mid-range as good as possible. For this, you can either go for 3-pointer or mid-range or speed, depending on, or maybe even drive speed. If you can ever even get that. I don't think you can get drive speed, but yeah, mid-range, 3-point, or speed, depending on what you guys are looking to get good at. So when it comes to Joey, you know, being a good shot creator and all that, I focus on his mid-range because I want to be able to get some buckets on him. I'll be able to make mid-ranges while I'm being contested. So you got drive speed. Now this is important, guys. Drive speed if you're a shot creator. Otherwise, if you're a catch and shoot, I recommend just doing speed. That's literally it. Drive speed, that way if someone's guarding you, they won't be able to clamp you up that easily. So pretty much that's literally it. Other than that, I don't think there's really much you can do. Now, if I were to move into shot creators, you know, get them level 5, you know. Now, when it comes to, not shot creators, but catch and shoots, but when it comes to catch and shoots, all you do is just use a shooting freestyle. That's literally it. These guys won't be able to go inside the paint and slash. Now, when it comes to these guys, you know, you're gonna have some good shooting skills. You'll have, you know, most of them are gonna have shooting touch to improve their success rate, so you'll be able to make open threes. You know, a good catch and shoot, so quick drive, shot fake pass. That way, if you're that way, if somebody is trying to, you know, they'll for example, they're just gonna have all these skills. Most, like I said, they're not gonna have all ISO skills. They're mainly just off ball movements and quick shots and all that. You know, so when you're catching the ball, that's where you get your power from. Like I said, catch and shoot. You know, catch the ball, you throw a fake. You get your opponent jumping, you pass the ball back, then they pass you the ball back, and then you shoot it. There you go. Quick shot, you wide open, 3, man, bang, you know what I'm saying? Now when it comes to your ability cards, like I said, for up here, you put 3-pointer or mid-range, speed, depending on what you guys are trying to go for. You know, then right here, same thing for catch and shoots. Not catch shoots, but shot creators. For burgers, you're gonna mainly want some 3-point shot success rate. You know, fries, mid-range shot defense resist. For ice cream, if you are playing a catch and shoot, I recommend upgrading 3-pointer instead of mid-range, so you're able to get some open shots, because you're more likely to get some open shots because you're throwing in fakes. Otherwise, I would focus on mid-range, you know, if your 3-pointer is already high enough. And I'll talk about the limit later on, but for ice creams, not ice cream, but drinks, I recommend going for speed instead of drive speed. This is because speed is going to help you with your off-ball movements. That's pretty much going to help you out. So, now this is where we talk about attributes. So, when you guys playing as a scorer, the max mid-range I would accept is 205. This is because, I don't know why I just did this, but yes, the 205 mid-range is going to really help you make some contested mid-ranges. You know, it's going to, 205 mid-range overall, you know, you'll be able to make mid-ranges whilst being contested. You know, that's why I say get it at 205. For 3-pointer, you can have it a little bit less, but 180 would be a good limit because 180 will help you make open 3-pointers. You know, shooting 3-pointers, you know, you're not always going to have them being contested. So that's why I say having 3-pointers a little bit lower in stat-wise would definitely help you guys out. So 180 and so 205 mid-range and 180 3-pointer. Now, some other stats that you could go for speed. You know, for speed, I recommend getting that to a 205. This is because you need to be extremely fast when you're doing off ball. So when you're off ball, you know, you gotta be cutting all that. So having a 205 speed would definitely help. You know, other than that, I don't think there'd be any other stats I recommend upgrading. I mean, you could upgrade pass if you wanted to pass back and not getting it intercepted, but otherwise this would pretty much be it. But if you wanted to upgrade your pass, you know, getting it to like a to get to like a 205. I know it's kind of high, but this is why I say don't really upgrade passing unless your speed, your mid-range, and your 3-pointer are already good. So that's literally it. But yeah, I mean, other than that, guys, I mean, this is gonna be it for the. Actually, wait, we're gonna have some practice in. So when you guys play as a shot creator, you know, you first get the ball right here. All you do is you just dribble, you create some open shots, bang. You know, that's all you really do. You know, sometimes you drive to the paint. If your stretched big man is open, what you do, you just pass it out. You know, you pass it out, they get the open shot. But pretty much these guys, they kind of just go inside and they just slash it occasionally. So, you know, you don't do it all the time because slashing is extremely dangerous. You know, you get blocked and all that, so it's usually recommended not to do that. But yeah, pretty much, man, all you do is when you first get the ball, you hog it, because that's what your position is, bro. All you do is you just hog the ball. That's literally it. You know, you don't have to pass the ball out. You know, you just hog it. That's literally it. That's pretty much the entire position for you. This position is really good if you're playing with a stretch big man or your teammates aren't doing their task, bro. So mainly if your teammates are passing the ball, so you can pretty much just hog it. You know, by far, I probably have to rank this position a little bit worse than catch and shoots because catch and shoots can actually get you buckets. These guys don't really get you buckets at all. They only get you like 2-pointers, and that's literally it. That's why I say if you really want 3-pointers, you focus on your catch and shoots. So yeah, that's literally it. And then you got your catch and shoots. So these when you get the ball, you pass to your point guard. They set you up. So like I'll show you some examples of if Jefferson can even pass. But yeah, you use your skills to get you open. Use your pump fake shot, pass or whatever. You know, and pretty much you pretty much get your power from catching the ball, and then you shoot it pretty much. So these guys are gonna have better 3-pointers because they're more likely they're gonna have shooting touch. They're gonna have better 3-pointers, but they're gonna have worse mid ranges. So you're not gonna be able to shoot some contested middies. But yeah, it's pretty much it, guys. You know, that's literally how you play this game for shooters. Usually, like I said, your big man will sit in the paint. They'll set you up if they have to. This position is usually good if you're working on comms. So like if you're voice comms and you're playing with good teammates, then this is a good position. Or otherwise you play this position if you have a bad teammate, and then man, like if you have a bad teammate who can't really do something on the court, so like you'll have a good combo guard and you have a good big man. That's literally it. But otherwise, that's all I have to say, man. You know. Like I said, this position is one of the toughest positions in the game. You know, that's why I say the best player on your team must play this position. You know, because this position is extremely tough. You know, getting buckets isn't necessarily easy in this game. You know, but otherwise, yeah, man. I mean, you know, anyways, guys, peace, man. That's all I really have to say, man, about the scoring position. You know.